Let's talk a little bit about college. The higher education institution labeled as a money-sucking, party-pushing, alcohol, drug, and stress-induced trap. But before we get started, let's get a few things straight. I'm Mia, a 19-year-old freshman currently attending Worcester State University. I'm on the soccer team, I have a great group of friends, and an excellence of courses. What more could a college kid want? Well, what a lot of people don't know about me is that I suffered through quite a few mental health problems, from having panic attacks every other day to skipping classes due to lack of motivation. In hopes of finding a solution to my high levels of stress, I figured I could interview other students and administration about stress in college and eventually make a documentary about it, which I did. So, where were we again? Alright, college.
I think it wasn't helpful that there were a lot of distractions. Being in a setting where you're constantly surrounded by your peers and people who you consider friends, it makes it hard to sort of separate your own opinions and sometimes morals. A lot of things would come before schoolwork and priorities that you should be taking care of first before sort of relaxing and partying and situations like that.
I'm really stressed out lately because of all the snow, because we missed 2 days of classes. I think that puts a lot of stress on students because even if you miss days of classes, teachers still expect you to do what's the work that was on the syllabus, you know what I mean?
I think the pressure to succeed causes stress.
The pressure of getting good grades.
Along with the pressure to get good grades comes the temptation to cheat. You know, it's always there. Some people cheat just because they're like too pressured. You know, like they're too pressured to think independently, so they cheat off other people's papers.
Another factor that contributed to stress was definitely money.
When I went to Roger Williams my freshman year, it was just so expensive. I come from like a kind of poor family, so I felt really guilty about it. And that made me more depressed because I was like, I can't be doing this to my family. Like, I've got brothers and stuff. Everybody has to go to college, not just me.
It's nice to have something like a cushion to fall on when it comes to your parents and support that they provide.
You know, your parents pay a ton of money for you to go here, or you have to support yourself through school.
Start off your adult life completely drowning in debt. I think that kind of sucks.
And then when you factor in other things that you definitely shouldn't be spending money on, like booze and whatever illegal paraphernalia you happen to fancy.
I presume a lot of parents have done a lot to kind of keep their kids on track to staying busy, and then when they come here, a lot of the times they don't have their parents to support them anymore.
At some point, I think they realize that that can't go on forever and that you kind of have to take it upon yourself to find your own means to getting the money that you need.
It's like, you know, going into college, all right, 4 years you're done and you have to get a real job, but it doesn't hit you until you're a senior.
And the pressure to succeed in life, to get a good job, to get out there, to be competitive in the job market.
I feel like I'm a little bit different. The girls really want to talk to me. I mean, I've got like piercings. I'm a little hardcore kid. I dress like different, not very college, I guess.
For girls, mainly like stress comes a lot from an image, and like college girls, like I feel through movies, like have to be like hot and like skinny and all that shit.
We're all a size 2. Except you, Amy.
And I do see a different kind of stress in first-year students than the upperclassmen, obviously, because the transitionary stuff is very difficult.
You're going to be going from being a senior into the real world.
Oh, I know.
Where's your mind at right now?
It's going crazy. I've got one more year to really think about what I want to do.
I would also say seniors, probably same amount of stress on a different level because they are preparing to transition out.
From high school to college is pretty stressful, but it's still school.
Even being a nursing student, I'm not guaranteed a job after college, you know? Now they're looking for people with more of a degree, more than just a bachelor's.
And then when you get that job, you can't screw up. You're like a professional. You're like a grown-up, and I do not feel like a grown-up whatsoever.
I think every like demographic group probably has their own unique set of stressors.
It's just different for everybody. I feel like it's one of those things, like depression itself is something that absolutely everybody deals with at some point in their life, but some people will always have to deal with it. They're like born with just that.
I think as you get more integrated into campus, there's a ton of awesome resources.
As far as the teachers go, I've had a lot of teachers that were really good.
I have some teachers who shouldn't be teaching at this point. I've sat through classes where I have no idea what's going on and not been able to do anything about it. And that teacher has the effect on the rest of my life. They have the ability to crash, my whole career in one grade.
I've got so much going on, like at home, in my head, and not every professor is very accommodating to that. Like I've had some professors that have straight up been like, no, that's bullshit. You're just a lazy kid. You don't want to do your stuff. Like, I don't believe you for a second.
I mean, I know I like it here because there's less people in the classes, and I find that less stressful for me. I feel like if I can know my teacher better, and I feel like I can talk to them and go to them for help, it's much easier for me to deal with stuff.
I haven't really had a teacher that's like mean and just doesn't care about you.
But then there's especially here, I met in the NatSci program, there's so many good professors that will give you the time that you need.
And then also, most of the professors are pretty good. If you go to them and you say I'm really stressed out, they're willing to, help you out a little bit.
I've cried in one of my professor's offices before. My advisor invites me over to her house. She's just like, if you ever need to get away, just let me know. So it's really being in college is such a hit or miss when you have depression, because you get some of those really great professors who understand and want to help, and then you get those other assholes who are just like, no, that's not fair to the other kids, or, oh, you're sad, just be happy. So that makes you feel like crap, because you're like, wow, maybe they're right, maybe I'm just making all this up. But if I'm making it all up, then how come it won't just go away?
We do have a counseling center on campus. Most campuses do.
I don't go to counseling, or I haven't really used any other sources.
Well, actually, at Worcester State, I feel like they do a great job with handling students who have mental illnesses and deal with a lot of stress. And the Disability Services Office is also fabulous. And here, you can pretty much just walk into any counselor's office and be like, oh my God. And they will figure it out.
They do have busy schedules though, because we have such a need for them.
Well, when I went to Roger Williams my freshman year, it was so hard just to get my medication to go through the school so I wouldn't have to drive home to Connecticut every month when I needed to pick up my antidepressants.
People are coming to school with more of a history of either seeking out some counseling, seeking out psychiatric help if need be, having some kind of anxiety, or even something like ADD where they've been prescribed medications that would require them to check in with somebody.
I'm in this club. It's a national organization trying to get the word out about what mental illness really is. And I thought that was really cool that this school has it. They do so much to try to get the word out, which I think is really important.
But a lot of times people don't want to admit that they feel that stressed out, that they're at a breaking point. I think students have a harder time recognizing when to ask for that help as well.
I guess a lot of kids are like, oh, I'm stressed, just keep it cool, don't tell anybody about it.
Sort out your priorities, figure out balancing things better, figure out which people are like weighing you down and making things worse and which people are building you up.
That was really nice, and that helped a lot, like just not being alone, not being in my room by myself constantly.
Two people sometimes who are both stressed out together can make you feel a lot better than we're just one by themselves.
I'm finally in a place where I feel like I'm cool, like I know what to do. I've learned like tactics to use whenever I feel like scared again.
Not to like toot our own horn, but that's like why I do my job and why I prefer to live in a first year hall and work in a first year hall, is because I think that our task is huge, and I love that challenge, and I love being able to support people. So
My RA has been here since day one. You know, how's class? What's up? Like, how you doing? Just there to talk to.
And I've gotten a lot of help that I needed.
People cope with stress in totally different ways.
a lot of the times I think students will opt for the kind of stereotypical drinking, doing drugs, etc.
The way I deal with stress is basically working out. I know a ton of people that do drugs because it's just like they just want to get away from reality because they just don't know how to deal with things.
Like, antidepressants are fucked. Like, sometimes you take them and they make you feel 10 times worse. And sometimes you take them and, oh my god, 2 days later you've gained 20 pounds and you're like, wow, now I'm fat, this is terrible.
And other people gain 20 pounds their freshman year.
I tried weed for the first time in college on a really bad day when I was really depressed. And it was better than any antidepressant I've ever taken. Like, exercise and marijuana were like the best coping methods I've found so far.
Honestly, let's be real, like, the food here sucks.
A few of my friends got eating disorders because of stress, and that was one of the hardest things for me to watch.
There's ice cream, which I try to stay away from, and then there's like music.
You know, the kids who go out and drink on the weekends or go out and party and claim, you know, it's because of their stress. That's why we do it. We're all stressed out all the time.
Some people come to college and they just drink all the time and they just don't do what they need to do, so it's a waste of time for them.
I'm pretty stoned right now. I've smoked at least like 6 bowls today. I'd say like 4 out of a bong, and took some Adderall. I'm pretty rolling right now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to study for finals. Let's do this.
I've been working my ass off doing finals all day, and smoking weed was my reward.
They go and they get high and study.
Yeah, but like drinking drugs and promiscuous behavior, I mean, oh my gosh. But I do think that they kind of perceive this as like a stress relief, when in reality I think it just compounds their stress by so much.
I smoke weed not just because of school stress, because of all stress, but I would say it's just stress. It's like a part of my life now.
They've tried many different ways to bring the suicide rate down. I guess one of the ways that the school helped alleviate that was we had a 1-week break every 5 weeks. It was a huge problem.
There's always something else that you can be doing besides taking your own life or anything as drastic as that.
I've been like a cutter since I was like 11. I started college here, and that was just like the start of a really terrible uphill battle.
How else do you cope with stress aside from cutting?
Aside from cutting, a few months into the second semester, I hung myself in my dorm room because I was just like, fuck this all. Like, classes were going shitty because I was too depressed to like concentrate or like be focused. And I couldn't remember anything I studied because I was too busy constantly thinking about like, oh, I'm such a fucking loser. Like, nobody likes me, and like I just wanted to be home. I'm fucking retarded and didn't tie the noose right, and it unraveled and I just fell on my ass. So like I cut and ended up doing it like on my forearms. The other girl saw it and like freaked out and told the RA. An RA and the RD came knocking on my door, and they like escorted me over to the counseling center. I kind of just broke down and admitted everything that I've ever done. Like, that wasn't my first time trying to commit suicide. So that same day, an ambulance came to the student center and went to UMass in the psych ward for a week. I remember I spent my whole spring break in the freaking hospital. to get like mental health treatment. It was the scariest thing ever.
How about it, you creeps, you lunatics, mental defectives? Let's hear it for Bull Goose Randall back in action. Nice shirt, Chesaroo.
My roommates said that they were like afraid to live with me or something, like a threat to myself and others, apparently.
Essentially what it is I think everyone's stress kind of, it obviously affects you as a person, but it affects the stress of everyone around you.
So they were like, you can either go into another room or commute.
Like if they have like a certain situation that's why they have to commute, maybe that is its own stressor too. So
I had to commute and that just put so much more stress. I live in Connecticut. Sometimes I would miss class just because I couldn't get here, which is really annoying. But that's like one of the shittiest parts, is that other kids don't fucking get it. Like they just think that you're nuts.
We're very unorganized, and housing is one of the biggest things here. You know, there's kids who live 2 hours away who don't get housing, and they can't come here because of it.
I've had different anxieties since I've been in college, you know what I mean? Like, being at home was one place my anxiety, like it was there, but I had the comfort of my home.
And so that, I think, can evolve a little bit of a different kind of stress than if you're living here, you're surrounded by your social group.
Being a commuter, I definitely think I have an advantage. That's just me personally.
I also feel like they should have a council of students on the housing board to go to them and to talk to them. What's not working? What can we do better? How can we make life on campus better for you?
Do you think college in the end is worth it?
Is college worth it in the end after all the stress? As of right now, I'd say it is.
I feel like college is a pretty big necessity.
It's become more of like a common thing to just know that you have to have a degree.
I think it prepares you, but sometimes I think I'm wasting my time here.
If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
The stress of my modern office has caused me to go into a depression.
Depression? Isn't that just a fancy word for feeling bummed out?
Dwight, you ignorant slut!
Yeah, so that's like what I've been through so far at college with depression.
There's also the good side to college, where it's learning and it's friendship.
You just kind of have to stay strong and just know that it does get better. And you have good days. You're always going to have bad days, but there's still really cool days.
You know, there's a lot of stress, and then once you get through it and you're done and you've accomplished something, you feel good about it.
But it's easier said than done for sure. It takes a lot of practice.
Some people respond positively and others don't. I guess it's college.
I don't want to go back to the hospital ever again. And I feel like the transition from college to the real world might put me in that place again.
I feel like a different person. And I'm not really sure what's gonna happen from here. I'm gonna try to seek some help and see where that takes me. So that's all I got right now. Until next time.